Hey everybody, it is your Future Stars forecast on this 2-year-old Tuesday. With it also being Whitney weekend, I thought I would start things off with a very special horse to me. He's one of my all-time favorites, in fact, and he is the great Easy Goer. So let's go ahead and watch back the 1989, because he beat these horses as a 3-year-old Whitney handicap.
Some other races there. Now you see going in the 5-horse Forever Silver. That is the second choice on the board, or third choice at 4-1. Crypto Clearance, the entry at 9-2. Easy Goer at 1-5. Its Academic goes in. They're set to run. The Whitney handicap. Let's listen at the starting gate, and Marshall Cassidy will have the call.
Home Builder going for the lead on the outside. Easy Goer is challenging that early lead as Lustra moves up quickly on the outside. They approach the last turn. Lustra now gets the lead by a length. Home Builder now second. In tight quarters on the rail. Easy Goer on the outside. Forever Silver, then it's Academic, and Crypto Clearance is sixth. They continue around the clubhouse turn. Lustra leads by a length and a half. Home Builder second by the same. Forever Silver is now third. Easy Goer has dropped back into fourth. They're on to the next stretch. The quarter, 24th left. Lustra on the rail still leads by a length. Home Builder on the outside, second by 3. Easy Goer has gained a bit on the inside. Forever Silver, those two have a length on its Academic, and Crypto Clearance on the rail is sixth. 48-1. They continue down the backstretch. Lustra on the rail still leads the way by a length. Home Builder on the outside, second by a length and a half. Forever Silver on the outside, once again takes third. Easy Goer has dropped back again. They round the fourth turn. 3/4, 12 up. Lustra still leads on the rail by a head. Home Builder on the outside, gaining ground is Forever Silver. And farther out, it's Academic. Easy Goer now fifth. Crypto Clearance on the far outside, making a move. They're in the search. Forever Silver now takes over by a gaining ground on the outside. It's Academic, farther out. Crypto Clearance moving up on the outside. Easy Goer across the 8th. Easy Goer has now gained the lead. Easy Goer gets clear by a length. Forever Silver back into second on the outside. Crypto Clearance, a 3-year-old New York's Easy Goer has the lead.
Easy Goer has unofficially won the Whitney in a time of 1:47.2. That is 2/5 of a second off of the stakes and the track record here at Saratoga. And Chelsea, he did it his way. Easy Goer, 260.
Honestly, I just get chills with every one of that horse's races. He was champion 2-year-old of 1988. He won that race again, the Whitney, as a 3-year-old. He also beat older horses. I mean, he went back to going against 3-year-olds after that. He won the Travers, and then he won the Woodward. He won the Jockey Club Gold Cup against older. And of course, then we know he and Sunday Silence, that rivalry epic. They met again in the Breeders' Cup Classic, where once again, Sunday Silence got the better, but Easy Goer, again, just how can you not love that horse? I am so honored to have his trainer, SHUG McGAUGHey, with me.
Thank you. It was fun to watch.
What is it like watching those races back?
It has been a while, and you sort of forget sometimes. And I was proud of Pat Day finding that hole and then getting him, jumping him through there. But he was a special horse, and he was sure fun to have. He had a great career, and it was fun for me and fun for Mr. Phipps and the Phipps family. And being a homebred and all that goes with it, you know, it was a special time.
Oh gosh, definitely. And that rivalry, I mean, it's iconic. I'll just play it over here on the side. I'm sure people would probably get a kick out of it. It might be, is it a little painful, or do you get a thrill watching them duke it out down the stretch in the Preakness?
No, because after the Derby, I thought he probably didn't handle the track, and Pat told me that too. But I always had, he never had run against Sunday Silence before, so I said, is he good enough or not good enough? And, you know, I think he might have been the best that day, but we only got beat a nose, so we came back to the Belmont with pretty high expectations, and he lived.
Well, I mean, this was a horse, again, just showed so much promise right from the beginning. I know he was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile that year. What made him just so unique? Because one of the things that I found very moving about him and his story was that he actually had a very significant clubbed foot. I think it was his left fore, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, his feet weren't the best, and you know he wasn't really conformationally the best. But you know his way of going, and you know he was tough, and you know I think the way of going, I think Pat Day helped a lot. He always brought me back a horse, and you know they all got to yelling. You know when he got beat a couple times, you know Unique Cadero, who's a great friend of mine, was a great rider, but you know, he might have been a little bit hard on him and might not have brought him back quite as good as Pat did. But, you know, I just think his way going, he let me train him the way I wanted to train him. And, you know, it all worked. Except it was a 37-year-old kid going to Charlotte Whittingham. And that's not easy.
Well, I mean, what was it like for you going through this rivalry? I mean, it was really something that invigorated racing, I feel. I mean, especially with this showdown here. There was something about these two horses, not only duking it out down the stretch side to side, but they start going head to head with each other.
Well, it was, you know, it was a lot of fun, and he made it a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, you know, it was a nervous time, but it was exciting, and you know, I'd sure like to do it again.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And just to see here, sorry, stopping the screen. You know, the other thing about this horse is just the ability that he showed, not only in just putting together these stellar performances, but his Belmont was the second fastest Belmont, you know, and second only to Secretariat. And I'll have that playing over here on the side as well. And it's just so interesting to me too, just the other things that he was able to string together, like as we were discussing, you know, winning the Belmont, going on and beating older horses in the Whitney, then going back to 3-year-olds in the Travers, and then beating older in the Woodward and the Jockey Club Gold Cup. What incentivized you to go ahead and throw him in against older horses?
Well, I had a horse to run in the Jim Dandy, and so we elected to run him in the Jim Dandy and run Easy Goer in the Whitney. You know, we'd done quite a bit. It was another very prestigious race, and you know, I think that it was probably a race that, you know, Mr. Phipps was anxious to run in, and I was too, and you know, luckily it worked out really well. The timing was good from the Belmont to the Whitney and the Whitney to the Travers, and you know, I thought that he really came out of the Belmont in very good shape. You know, I mean, I probably could have run him even a couple of weeks earlier, as well as he was doing. You know, coming out of that Derby. Well, he run Gotham, Wood, Derby, Preakness, Belmont, and you know, I thought he was just doing good enough to give it a whirl, and you know, luckily, I'm not afraid to give it a whirl sometimes, and
I love it.
You know, Mr. Phipps, he was the same way, and you know, the whole thing worked out very well.
Well, the other thing that we of course have to mention is, I mean, when he's being older horses, I mean, he's being the likes of Crypto Clearance. I mean, really nice game horses, and it is really remarkable when you go back and you look at this and the journey that you took with the Phipps and still are involved with, which is why subtle here, but like I've got the black on with I went for sort of a cherry look here for the cap.
I see.
I'm one of those people, I'll dress to the theme. But no, I mean, and of course, we'd be remiss if not talking about the fact that in 1989, considering this is the Breeders' Cup Future Stars forecast where we focus on 2-year-olds, you also had in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile of that year, and I'm going to show that after this, Rhythm. And Rhythm is a horse who went on to win the Travers. Well, what do you think it was about just getting these horses to click early? It's very difficult because especially not only getting them to win and be a champion, but also go forward into their 3-year-old season and just knock it out.
Well, that's kind of what we try to pattern ourselves out as. When I got to the Phippses, they were breeding a lot to speed. He was by Alidar, and Alidar ran June of his 2-year-old year, and Buckpasser, I think he ran quite a few times as a 2-year-old, and they were breeding to Danzig and Mr. Prospector. So we're having a lot of kind of quick 2-year-olds. Rhythm was one of them. He was by Mr. Prospector, and so there was a lot of speed in there and in their pedigrees, and they got ready in a hurry. They were good horses, and it wasn't hard to get them ready to run, and they took it very well. I didn't need to see this one. But no, it's fine, believe me. And so it was fun. Rhythm came along, made his first start up here at Saratoga, and then he was second in the Champagne, and we took him to Florida and for the Breeders' Cup. He just couldn't have done better down there all winter. All time I had him there for about 2 weeks with the others, and he adjudicating won the Travers, who was Denny Phipps's horse, and as was Rhythm, but he didn't do that good down there. I really favored going into the race Rhythm. I thought he would probably be tough in there, and Perrette rode him great, and this is his race here. I thought we were watching the Classic, but
no.
And he ran a great race that day. Wayne had a horse in there of Overbrooks that was coming up on the outside there that came in with a big resume, and we were glad to win, and he ended up making him a 2-year-old colt champion.
Yeah,
He was a nice horse.
A very nice horse, a beautiful horse, and just can you tell us how you first got involved with the Phipps?
Well, I worked at Belmont for the Whiteleys for years, and we worked pretty much all day. And sometimes when I'd leave the barn there, I'd walk by the Phipps' barn to go out the front gate to get a sandwich or something, and I'd always walk and kind of look down the shed just from the road and think, boy, if I could ever have a chance to train these horses. I wasn't even training then. It was just one of those pipe dreams. And so then I started training, and 84, 85, I had a bunch of horses in a bunch of different places, and I was a little bit uneasy with that. And so I came home from Saratoga. I took 5 or 6 horses up there, and we did really well. And so then I started kind of thinking about what I want to do, whether I want to pick the horses up to the better ones and go and train in New York, or just take the 36 stall limit at Churchill Downs, which I had, and just stick around Louisville and train at Churchill Downs, which has been great. I love Churchill and Keeneland. And I was home, and I got a telephone call from Seth Hancock saying that the Phippses would like to talk to you if you would like to talk to them. I said, well, of course I'd like to talk to them. So he said, well, can you be out to the farm like in an hour? And I said, no, but I can be. He said, well, I'll leave at 3 o'clock. I said, I'll be there before that. And so I talked to Denny Phipps, and we agreed to meet a couple of weeks later in New York. And I remember driving out to their house to meet with him, and I was on the Long Island Expressway, and it was raining as hard as it could rain. I'm a young kid. I'm nervous for Rick anyway. Oh. And he put me right at ease. But that afternoon, the horse I trained called Van Landingham won the Jockey Club Gold Cup. And then he gave the trophy. So I think that probably gave me a pretty good push in that direction. But that's how he sort of sent me home saying, you think about the job, let me talk to my father about it. And we got together again about Monday or Tuesday and put the things together. And like I say, it was an easy decision, but it wasn't easy. I had some really good clients, and John Ed Anthony, which was Loblolly Stable, who was great to me, and Dr. Lavin and his family, John Bell and his family, and some people like that. But it was just kind of spread out a little bit more than I liked at that time. And so this opportunity came up at a great time. They had some young mares, and like I said before, they were breeding to Alidar, Danzig, Mr. Prospector just kind of got to Claiborne, and Private Account, who Personal Ensign was by. So it all just sort of fell into place for me, and they allowed me to do my thing, and they never interfered with anything. And, so it made the job a whole lot easier than maybe a lot of people would have thought it would have been, but it was. They were very easy to work for, and they're and Mr. Phipps and Denny and Cynthia Phipps were all involved, and I miss them all to this day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just for me, I was around 9-10 years old when Easy Goer was running Personal Ensign. I think that's part of the reason. I grew up on a thoroughbred horse farm. So we tune in, we watch all the big races, of course, the Breeders' Cup. And there was something about those horses in particular that just captured my imagination. To this day, Personal Ensign, I mean, before there was a Zenyatta, before there was a Rachel, there was Personal Ensign, and she is still my all-time favorite distaff. I mean, Ruffian, obviously, I respect her, but she was before I couldn't enjoy her in the moment.
No.
But Personal Ensign, she's a horse that, I mean, when you just look at that record, that 13 wins, just undefeated, and I have right here her beating Gulch in the Whitney. And when we have a 3-horse field like this, did you think it was going to make it easier for her or harder for her?
Well, I'm not sure that I really knew. The one thing that that I did know that that Pat was going to have to be, Randy was going to have to be careful of the other riders, and he kind of kept her out in the racetrack. And, I wasn't as much worried about King Swan as I was Gulch, even though King Swan was really good, but I thought we were probably maybe better than her. And as you'll see on this, they kind of rode around the middle of the racetrack. She was able, and the rain had rained earlier in the day, and that kind of worried me a little bit. But I'd gone over and watched another race, and it looked like they were just the water was sitting on top, and they were going through to the bottom. And so we elected to go on and run. I mean, she had 5 screws in the back pastern, so it never got in our way. And so it was. Mr. Phipps really wanted to run her against the Colts. And we had thought about doing it earlier in the Suburban, but I was getting a little bit of kickback. Well, she only wins at Belmont Park from some of your California counterparts. But so I said, I'll take her down there to Mama Park and run her in the Molly Pitcher. And so we did that, and she won pretty easy. And so this was sort of the next step that we wanted to do, because, we wanted to use, then I felt like that, if we were wrong and it took too much out of her or something, that we still had plenty of time to get to the Breeders' Cup, because that's where we obviously wanted to get to. And she had a couple of other races, that we could run in, that we did run in New York, and being the Beldame. And so, that was sort of my thinking.
Well,
I'm sure I went in with some hesitation, but I would have gone in with confidence too.
This might sound like a super stupid question, considering obviously just the depth of what we ended up seeing in the Breeders' Cup Classic. But had it ever crossed your mind, with her being so tremendous and having already beat a horse like Gulch, did it ever cross your mind to go to the Classic also with her?
No, and I'll tell you why. Is I'd never won a Breeders' Cup. Mr. Phipps had never won a Breeders' Cup. We wanted to win a Breeders' Cup, and we thought that running in the distaff would be our best chance to do that. And, you know, luckily it worked out by a small inch, but that was what our thinking was.
One of the most exciting races ever. And in fact, I'm going to save that race to close out the show because it's still, to me, just epic. It actually, going through and watching the replay today, this is going to sound so corny, but I promise you it's not hyperbole. I literally cried watching it back. There's just something about that mare that I will always find her to be like that unicorn in racing. I mean, we're talking about her going, you know, right there from the Whitney, as you said. She goes from the Mascot and then wins the Belle Dame and then closes out the career with that sensational victory over Winning Colors. And the fanfare had to be out of bounds, I would think. How has it changed in terms of the fandom from then to now?
As a what?
The fandom from then to now. I mean, for example, just people wanting to come crowd and see the horse. I mean, from then until, for example, winning with Orb with the Derby. What's it like?
Well, I mean, you know, it's exciting times, and one of the things with me, and I'm sure with most other trainers, is you build yourself up so high when you're going into those races, and sometimes when it's over, it's a letdown, you know, so you think, thank goodness it's over. But, you know, it was and still is fun times. I mean, you know, Orb winning the Derby was, you know, was a dream come true. But as people tell you, it's a bait, and I want to do it again. And, you know, bringing Code of Honor here to the Travers and with all the Farishes here and the family and, you know, family that have been good to me over the years that I admired a lot, and be able to win the Travers with him and see how much it meant to them and how excited they were, you know, was a lot of fun. And, you know, all those kind of races are fun. And, you know, when it's fun to participate and it's fun to, when the result goes your way, which, you know, as we all know, sometimes are few and far between, but, you know, getting a nice horse and watching them develop and kind of bring them through their stages is, you know, what I like to do. And it's not that easy, you know, getting one that can run, but when you do, makes it all worthwhile.
Oh, for sure. And just talking about, again, you mentioning the Travers with Code of Honor, that was your fourth win in the race because you'd won with Rhythm, you won with Easy Goer, and with Coronado's Quest. And then going to the Whitney, I mean, the other thing I would have to say, in just watching that, and with Personal Ensign, is it true? And with that slop, you mentioned how you were thinking about it, but did she personally like it or dislike it? I mean, I know that we had sort of off track, obviously, in the classic or the distaff rather. Did she win despite of it, or because she seemed to go over it fine?
I think she sort of won maybe spite of it. I don't think she was getting a hold of the track that good, especially, I mean, when she started running, she did. But like down the backside, she was back farther, and she didn't make her move when she usually does. But, you know, that family, I mean, she won the Breeders' Cup there, but like I say, that was probably obviously the closest race she had. And you're right, she had one on off track, but my flag got beat in the Kentucky Oaks there. Easy Goer got beat in the Kentucky Derby there. So I always said it wasn't bad training, it was bad track.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
That's kind of was my thinking behind it. But you know, and no time did I really ever think she was going to win. And I was standing with a friend of mine at about the 3/8 pole and said, "What do you think?" I said, "Not today." Oh. And then she kicked in and she was able to beat the Derby winner and the Kentucky Oaks winner. And
how did you
say, a classic race.
Yes. Do you remember how you celebrated that night?
I don't remember, but it wouldn't have been too much.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say it wouldn't be for air.
No. Orbs was a little bit long, but at that time, I don't really remember what we did.
The other thing that's really remarkable with your Whitney winners, okay, so Easy Goer, Personal Ensign, also winning it with Honor Code in 2015. But going back to Personal Ensign, she was bred to Easy Goer, which produced My Flag. I'm going to show her on this side. That's the other reason I think that Personal Ensign for me is just iconic, because not only was she this monster on the track, but she was a tremendous producer.
Great broodmare, and a lot of times you don't really see that out of your best fillies. They leave so much on the track, and then their training and stuff. Sometimes they're just not as good a broodmare as broodmares, but she was, and that was 3 generations. When when Storm Flag Flying won the Breeders' Cup, that was 3 generations of Breeders' Cup, and you sure don't see that too much. And she had a horse called Our Emblem. It was a pretty nice horse, and and just kind of all passed on, and it was quite a pedigree.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, for sure. The fact that she was able to leave such a legacy behind, it also just adds to the lure of it. And how often do you have people coming up and telling you what I have, that, oh my gosh, you've trained my favorite horses? It has to happen often.
It happens quite a bit. It happens more with Easy Goer than any of them. But it happens quite often. I mean, we're getting a little bit far out now, but we did hear, I still get compliments especially when I walk through the grandstands here, especially.
Yeah.
And other places too. But the fans up here are such supportive fans, and they like horse racing so much that they remember the good ones, and makes it special.
Oh, definitely. And when you look back at these races too, I mean, not only do you have My Flag, who goes on to produce Storm Flag Flying, who wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies also, and then is a Grade 1 winner at 3 years old. But look, the gray here, everybody, that My Flag is going to beat is Cara Raffaella, who is the dam of Bernardini.
Right.
I mean,
she was a good filly.
Yes, a very good filly. Yeah.
But I think we ran into Matron and finished 3rd, and then we ran back and made Breeders' Cup preview day, and My Flag was just making the right advances, and then she caught an off track that day, which she liked, and she ran a big race, and Bailey got her in position to win, and she won.
Yeah, and it's just, for me, it's just so fun to have an excuse to go back and watch these races, because, as I said, this is all like my youth and heyday of just being enamored with them, and enamored with, as you talked about, the pedigree and the carrying on from dam to dam to dam. And here we have Storm Flag Flying in the juvenile fillies, everybody, if you're just tuning in. I do have some comments from Lawrence Anthony. Says, Shug had Easy Goer, Lure, 2-time Breeders' Cup Mile winner Lure, 92-93, Rhythm, and the Queen, Personal Ensign, all in the barn at the same time. That had to be insane.
That was a lot of fun to get up and come to work in the morning, I tell you that.
I'm sure. What about the nerves, though, too? We know these horses can hurt themselves in a bubble wrap, or a completely padded stall.
Well, this one here would test your nerves quite a bit.
Really? Tell us.
Because she had a mind of her own, and I made a mistake with her. When I brought her to Arlington, I was taking her out in the dark because I didn't want her to do anything stupid. And Johnny said that, like she was looking around all the time at the signs and the tents and all that kind of stuff, because she hadn't seen them before. And he said he was glad when he got by the filly of Baffert's here that she kind of got by, because then she came back and Storm Flag Flying re-engaged, as you'll see.
Yeah.
And but she was undefeated as a 2-year-old. Kind of was a bit of a surprise. When she won her first start up here, we paid $38 or something.
Just the fact that she fought back there. Sorry, yeah.
Do what?
The fact that she came back on that filly, yeah.
You just had to be careful. I mean, that family was was, you know, you had to watch them, and then you put Storm Cat on top of it.
Yeah.
You know, anything can happen. I mean, especially when she was a young horse, you know, and so it made, I remember telling some of my guys that work now, you know, that I used to walk some days when she was training Storm Flag Flying, I'd walk up and down the grandstand at Belmont just because I was nervous, you know, and that she's going to do something. And, but she finally grew up and grew out of it. My flag was that way. She
Really?
was great big. And, you know, and she'd be walking around the shed, might just run right into the outside wall or something. But, you know, our emblem, I don't think, no. Our emblem, I don't think we ever got him off his back feet till he was 3. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
What it takes, you have to be a bit of a horse whisperer to, you know, run an elite barn. You have to be able to figure these horses out, not just physically, but mentally as well. But going back to my flag, again, having won the juvenile fillies there in 1995, that was a very good Breeders' Cup for you because in the distaff, you actually got the exacta. Inside information by the aforementioned private account and Heavenly Prize, who this is the second time she was running second, but I'm sure you didn't mind in this instance.
no, not at all. I mean, it was, you know, it was a great day. You know, I think that I always thought Heavenly Prize was the best. She was one first year seeking the gold, but when after this race here, then I knew she might have been second best. But I don't think she handled the track that well. But, and Inside Information loved it, and Mike did a great job. You know, he didn't take the race away from her. He just put her in the race and said, "Let's go." And she loved the track, and she was a good horse, you know. And you know, I mean, she won some races that were just, you know, off the screen, and you know, big races, a ruffian, those kind of races that she won way off. And you know, both those fillies were in the same crop. They both broke their maiden the same day in September at Belmont. And so it was kind of interesting to see to have two fillies like that run on the same day and be as good as they were.
And they
both
went on.
Of them were champions.
Yes, and they both went on to Hall of Famers, went on to be producers too. I mean, Inside Information produced a Champion and Smuggler. We have Heavenly Prize produce Pure Prize, Good Reward. It is really showing that just again the tapestry of even today's modern thoroughbred. I mean, if you look at this race, we've got Serena Song. She's the great maternal grandmother of Honor Code. You've got Mariah Storman here, who is the dam of Giants Causeway. It's really incredible.
Well, pedigrees are incredible, and I mean, I always think that somewhere along that line they'll jump up again if they get a little bit stale for a little while. You'll look down the page, and you know the good pedigrees come up, whether it's a Phipps pedigree, whether it's a Claiborne pedigree, whether it's an Alan Paulson pedigree, a Elmendorf, but somewhere down there you're going to see it. I'm a big believer in that. I mean, a lot of good fillies aren't good brood mares, but then their daughters or granddaughters. But those pedigrees will usually always jump back in there somewhere.
Well, speaking of pedigree, your sons, I mean, Reeve, I do the track analysis for Tampa Bay Downs during their meet, and he was just training lights out.
Well, he's a good horseman. Proud of him. He's kind of working with me in my Churchill division, and so I'm able to talk to him. He picked out a lot of the yearlings that Joe Allen bought this year, along with David Priest, and he did a remarkable job. I mean, not really any of them did. When we looked at them, did we not like? And I mean, I was really kind of set back myself. I said, what a nice bunch of horses these turned out. They are, and so I hope his future's in front of him, and he knows that whatever he needs, I'm there for him. So keep.
And then you got Chip working for Keeneland.
I got Chip working for Keeneland. He never did care about the day-to-day stuff. He liked the administrative stuff, and so he's doing a lot. He's coming to Saratoga, I think Friday, and probably stay through the sale, and then go back and get ready for their big sale. Now that COVID's lifted a little bit, he's traveling to exotic places that I really wouldn't care about going, such as Turkey and Korea and those kind of places, but he likes it. And it's quite an experience for a guy in his mid-30s to be able to
Oh yeah.
to go to these places and like doing it. I mean, he's been, Japan and some parts of China and those Russia, and
Wow.
so it's I think that he's done a very good job of recruiting and sort of taking care of his clients and introducing new clients in these funny places to the game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed meeting him and his wife. We happened to be, my husband, Matt Carruthers, we happened to be at a dinner party over at David and Gordo and Cherie and Gordo's home. And Chip was there with Jenny, and I met your
Yeah.
granddaughter, who is just absolutely precious.
Well,
Oh gosh.
pretty proud of her too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so cute, but just a family that I love to root for. And so let's talk now about the 2-year-old that you had debut. Well, actually, before I do that, I have some nice comments here for you. Shug is a legend. As an ex-jockey myself and coming from New York, this is great for me to be watching right now. I never did make it into Shug's barn, even as an exercise rider, but I knew he had a bunch of good horses always. Again, a legend.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And here's something else before we move on to talking about the 2-year-olds currently you have. Shug also trains Seeking the Gold, yes. And what a wonderful worldwide stallion he became. Absolutely. You see his influence here stateside. You see it a lot internationally. Just that pedigree being so versatile. Dirt, turf, doesn't matter. And I actually read a comment from you in an interview when somebody said, maybe it's not nice to ask, but can you tell us who your favorite horse was? And you said it was Seeking the Gold.
Well, he was 110% horse. And I think that every time I took him over there, he gave it his best. I know he won his first 4 races, and Randy Romero was riding him, and he'd come back and say, "Oh, it won easy." I said, "Yeah, well, it took him a week to eat up." But so he was giving it his all, is what I'm saying. And, he came back, and he was second to Private Terms in the Gotham and the Wood Memorial. Ran him in the Derby, shouldn't have, but you learn from your mistakes. And then we came back and sort of regrouped, and he won the Dwyer, and then 49er beat him an inch in the Haskell, and then again an inch in the Travers, and 2 great races. Again, me having to go up against Woody Stevens as like me going up against Charlie Whittingham with Easy Goer, but they were pretty sharp guys. But I was disappointed we got beat, but I was very proud of the effort and very proud of running that well against a very, very good horse in 49.
Oh yeah, and again, going back to his legacy as a sire, you trained Pleasant Home, who won the distaff. She's a daughter of his. He also sired Flanders, who was a champion juvenile. She won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Is it rewarding for you to watch horses go on? Because just going through the roster that you've had come and go through your barn over the years, the one thing that is just so striking is so many of these horses are, as we were talking about earlier, so influential in the pedigree still today, whether it were the fillies or whether it was the males.
Yeah, of course, I take pride in that we were able to get them through their racing career and get them to, whether it be a brood mare or a stallion, in good shape, to where they're good, healthy horses to be bred. And when it goes down the line, I take a lot of pride in what they do, and where they are, and some of the farms that have been interested in the horses. Obviously Claiborne's had, because of their allegiance to the Phipps family, and the Phipps family allegiance to them, have had a lot of them, which that's, I don't know if it could get any better than stamping Claiborne Farm on a stallion or a broodmare or a baby or whatever. And, so they're people that I've been around for quite a while. And, Rhythm, I think he went to Lane's End first, and Pure Prize went to Windstar, I think, and Orr went to Claiborne, and now's down in South America. And I hope that as we go along, we'll have some others that'll park themselves somewhere.
Well, also, talking about the longevity of their careers, what is the key to that? I mean, Heavenly Prize, she was a Grade 1 winner at 2, 3, and 4 years old.
I think just trying to bring them along the right way, and not overdoing it, in their training. I mean, those horses were good horses, so they breezed good because they were good horses. But I think, if you space their races in the right way and not overdo it, that it can last a little bit longer than maybe, if you press on them too much or if you overrun them, and which that's one of the biggest mistakes I see, that a lot of younger guys, when they get a decent horse, maybe the first one or whatever, they kind of tend to overdo it, and then they learn better not do that. And so I think that just sort of place them along. And as you see now, these guys that are such as Chad and Todd and these guys that, they're spreading that's the ones I'll watch on the East Coast, because, there's West Coast too, but they string their races along, and, they don't run them as much as maybe we did in the old days, but that's one of the reasons why. I mean, look at a horse like Flightline. What's he run, 4 times?
Yeah.
And, so he knows what he's got, and he knows how he wants to handle him. And, he's making his career last so far.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's very exciting. Flightline, we're going to see you run next in the Pacific Classic, and when you're in for the Longeville Classic. So that's very exciting. Wayne Harrison has a question for you. He says, congratulations on your success. Must have a crazy work ethic. What race, missing from your amazing CV, would you most like to win, and why?
2, the Preakness and the Breeders' Cup Classic. I got beat a nose in the Preakness, and I've been second in the Breeders' Cup Classic twice. We were talking about Seeking the Gold. He got beat half a length to Ali Sheba.
Yeah.
And in the dark and rain and sleet at Churchill Downs. So they're the 2 that are really on my bucket list, and I hope I have the opportunity one day to try them again.
Well, you have a 2-year-old who just debuted, who's just exceptionally exciting, because, one of the things we always say, you're not one of these trainers who's concerned about necessarily having to have a horse win first out, right?
No, but no, not.
But it's nice when it happens.
Yes, I mean, but it's not the end all with me if they don't. But the horse you're talking about, Capture the Flag, he was kind of special from the day I saw him last September at Cabin Creek in Paris, and he trained that way. He's the kind of horse that has a lot of sense. He does nothing wrong. He's easy to train. He's push button. I want to do this. He does that. And really, his race was, I told Sias, I said, he'll break, but he's not going to break fast. And I said, but I think he's good enough to gather him up. And that's kind of what we saw. But, he's a big, strong horse, mentally very sound, and, with a wonderful pedigree. He's by Quality Road out of War Flag, who won the couple, won the Flower Bowl.
Flower Bowl, yeah. And full sister to Lines of Battle. And
you look down there, it's a lot of Joe Allen's pedigree, and Dynaformer and Overway, and that all goes back to Darby Dan. So,
yes. Yeah, absolutely. When I watch this, it's also exciting from the standpoint of just talking about some of the names of those horses. Quality Road is a horse who could carry speed. I mean, he beat his own track record for 9 furlongs when he first set it in the Florida Derby, when he later won the Dawn. The mare, as you mentioned, War Flag, Grade 1 winner by Claiborne's Warfront. But yeah, you've got the fact that Andover Way is the great grandmother here, and she produced, as you mentioned, Dynaformer, and that was a horse who set record going distance. So it has to be exciting for you, with this having been a 5.5 furlong sprint. This horse is bred to run all day.
Well, that's what we think, and the way he is mentally, I'm sure should not be a problem. But he's as I say, he kind of looks like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, he looks big.
That way too. He's not been a problem at all at any time. And so I told Joe the other day, I was reading where the mare's got an Uncle Mo yearling and into Bishop foal and then foal the gun runner. I said, hell, you got me trained. I'm gonna be 80 before I can get that. When you look at that, it's exciting. The Phippses in January, are that way, that they try to give their horses the best chance they can. And
yeah,
they've got pedigrees and they breed them with decent stallions, and, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and you just got to love it too, because I mean, you have other Grade 1 winners in this female family. You have Awfully Wild, you have Homesman, who was by Warfront, and he's a multiple Group 1 winning millionaire, won the Australian Cup, the Underwood. It's just such a great pedigree. It's also so versatile, though I'm sure you would love to see this horse continue to blossom on the dirt, right?
Well, I remember Joe asked him, he said, you gonna run him on the dirt or the turf first? I said, I'm gonna run him on the dirt first. I said, he trains fine on the dirt, and I know he's got bottom line pedigree of turf, but one thing I heard Woody Stevens say one time, said, run him short on the dirt the first time. If that doesn't work, run him long on the dirt second time, and if that doesn't work, run him on the turf. But I don't, as of right now, he ain't gonna see the turf for a while.
Yeah, well, and people forget too, Warfront himself, he was a dirt horse. I mean, Omaha Beach, we've seen War of Will win the Preakness.
Yeah, he was a dirt sprinter when Jerkins got him.
I
think he won the 4 or something here. He was a good horse. He was made, obviously, as we all know, he's a great stack.
Oh yeah, and so this is a very exciting prospect. What are we thinking next for him? Hopeful?
Well, if everything goes right, and it looks like that he came out of his race very good, obviously we'd like to run him in the hopeful, and see where that takes us. I mean, you've always got where you'd like to go as a 2-year-old. It's not always that easy, but I think that's where we'd like to go, and we'll get him stretched out a little farther. I think that's will help him too.
And what do you think it's going to be like for him? I mean, you see him in the morning every day on the track. That was pretty tiring that Saturday. So what do you anticipate with him going forward? Again, a situation he won in spite of it. He's just a bigger horse, able to get over it better. So it didn't matter either way.
Well, obviously the track has been a little bit deep and dead up here. I knew it was the other day. We had some rain that sort of helped. I think it'll help it a little bit this week. But I think that he'll be probably better off when he can hear his feet rattle a little bit. I mean, Warfront wants firm turf, and I don't think Quality Road and a lot of Quality Road racehorses don't really care. He's that good a sire, but like I say, we get him stretched out, maybe catch a little bit of a faster track. Hopefully, maybe we might even see something a little better.
I love it. Okay, well, let's talk about, you have another 2-year-old who already debuted, was second to Lost Ark at Belmont at first asking. He's a son of Good Magic, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and was champion 2-year-old colt of 2017, or male of 2017. And then he's out of Jane Says by Tail Bacati. His family is the family of Leslie's Lady. That's his great grandmother. So this is the family of Beholder, who's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame on Friday. And you got Into Mischief, Sire Sensation, Mendelssohn. What a pedigree on this boy. Tell us about him.
Bought him in Ocala, privately, really. Came around in a hurry. Wanted to run him before I came up here. He's going to hopefully run again this Saturday, going 7/8. I thought his first race was really good, and he came out of it good. He's done really well up here as of his breezes. I breezed him this morning. No, that wasn't him, but Kendrick worked him last Saturday. Couldn't have worked any better, and galloped out really well. So I'm looking forward. I think that he's getting stronger, maybe putting on some weight the way you'd like for him to at this time of the year. And I'm sure looking forward to running him on Saturday.
Awesome. Okay, now let's talk about some firsters you have, or horses who have not debuted yet. So they'll be first-time starters when we do see them there in the form. Candle by City Light, a son of Quality Road. Steve Light won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I'm sorry. No, Candle did run. I'm sorry. Candle was 5th on debut. This was just on July 31st here, so on Sunday. But it was going a mile and the 16th on the turf. So, I mean, the fact that this horse got the lead before tiring, I think is pretty encouraging.
No, I was pleased with, I was disappointed she didn't win, but I mean, I was pleased with what I saw, the way she handled it, the way she's come out of it. I think she just probably needed it. And, when we run her back, if everything being good, which could be the end of this month, I think she'll be even better.
Awesome.
I'm not sure in the long run she's going to want to be up close, be on the lead.
Well, I mean, this is another horse. You're just stacked with pedigrees. I mean, this is the mom won the Matchmaker, and she herself is a daughter of an Epsom Derby winner and See the Stars, and then her own mother, Casual Look, won the Epsom Oaks. So
Yeah.
You can't get much better than that, right?
No, can't do much better than that.
So then we also have General Jim. He is a horse who will be making a debut. $850,000 the hammer was dropped for him. He's a son of the aforementioned Into Mischief. He's out of Inspired by Grace by Curlin. That mother is a full sister to Grade 1 Mother Goose winner Off the Tracks and a half sister to West Virginia Derby and Iowa Derby winner Concord Point.
Like him. He's a nice colt. We got him up here. I was thinking about running him a little bit sooner, but I worked him out of the gate and he worked really well. But I thought maybe mentally he might need a little bit more of an adjustment. So we just given him a little more time and hope to run him in the next 10 days or so. Nice.
Okay.
Thank.
Very encouraging to hear. So Limits of Power, $575,000 he went for. He is a son of Good Magic. We already talked about Good Magic. Then he's out of Modification. Modification is by another 2-year-old champ, Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner in Vindication. And so you got to love that Grade 1 precociousness, top and bottom, I would think, right?
I like him too. I like him as a yearling. I was glad when Joe bought him. And he's done very well, and I think you'll probably see him run before the end of this month.
That's awesome. He's also himself the colt Limits of Power half brother to Grade 1 winner Yapan. Won the first 4 starts of his career, and then he capped off the career with a win in the Forgo. You got Battle of Normandy. He went for $500,000. He's another son of City of Light. The mom, multiple stakes winner in Adorable Miss. She's by champion Grass Horse Kitten's Joy, who we just recently lost. The first foal that she dropped, who was a filly by Tappet, she's with Chad Brown, and she recently just got beat a neck in a main special weight at Saratoga there on July 23rd.
I like this colt, and he's going to run on Saturday, I hope. But we always thought he would probably be a fall 2-year-old.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden he came around really quick. I kind of got
excited. Just clicked mentally?
Yeah. And he was sort of a big colt in the spring, and now he's sort of leveled off. And my plan is to run him. I'm going to run him mile 16th on the turf. And, to get a race into him, see where he stands. Obviously, I hope that he wins way off, but I think he's going to be the kind that a race is going to help him. And then we would go back to having a fall 2-year-old. Well,
the prospects just keep coming. So now we've got Game Change, $500,000, son of Candy Ride. He's out of Sweet Corrine by Pulpit. The mom here is, boy, she got pedigree. Full sister to Risen Star winner El Padrino, and a half sister to multiple Grade 1 winner and multiple Group 1 place Verrazano. The family includes other Grade 1 winners like Keen Ice, Preservationist, Harmonize, Queena, who you trained. So tell us about him.
Well, that was one that made a mistake. He worked this morning on the training track here at Saratoga. I really like the way he went. I like him. Liked him when he was a yearling. He was at Nile Brennan's all winter, and he liked him a lot too. He's been a little bit slow mentally coming, and just to catching on more than, he doesn't do anything wrong, just to catching on. So I think that probably you'll see him run the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. So now let's talk about Spinzar. $400,000 son of Tappet at a Fleet of Gold by McGaugheey de Oro. Fleet of Gold herself is out of Fleet Indian. So she's a half sister to the mother of Breeders' Cup Juvenile Eclipse champion 2-year-old game winner who stands at Lane's End. And tell us about him.
Well, I do. I like him. I think that he's fine, and he worked out of the gate here the other day. I liked his work. In fact, he came out of the gate with General Jim, and no, he didn't. He came out with Ohana Honor, and they both work very well, and I think that Spinzar's got a future. I like him.
Okay, and hopefully the likes just keep coming. So Ohana Honor, you just mentioned, he went for $430,000, son of Honor Code, who obviously, as we already discussed, you trained. And he's out of Spacey Tracy by Awesome Again, who Breeders' Cup Classic winner. The mom here, Grade 2 winner. She's been a solid producer. She's produced Benner Island, who's a graded stakes winner. She's also produced a couple other stakes winners as well. The family includes Eliza, who was champion 2-year-old Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner. You also got other Grade 1 winners in the branches of those trees with Dialed In, Fox Play, and Denard.
Well, then again, all's good, training, and we'll just see where they take us.
Okay, we got full coverage. Kitten's Joy out of Onus by Blame. So this is one of those just really deep families that Janny homebred. The mom, she was a course record-setting Grade 3 winner. She produced Gunboat. You've got millionaires in the family that you trained, like On Leave and Ironicus in the mix. This is a tail female family to La Troyenne. Same thing with the game winner. That's family 1X. This is through Glowing Tribute. And for those of you who watch Saratoga, maybe you don't know, the statue there in the paddock, that's Glowing Tribute's son, Sea Hero, who won the Kentucky Derby. And so, this family also includes Eastern Echo, Roar, Yell. Yell's the grandmother of Elate, to put it in layman's terms. You've got Praise in there, who produced Congrats and Flatter. It's just a super deep pedigree.
Well, you're exactly right, and there again, you come up with Praise and those Yell. I had Yell, and she, it's all Claiborne's pedigree, and it all, like as I say, it all kind of pops up again, and hopefully it'll pop up again in this spot.
Yeah, I was telling Walker, because I saw him at the sale recently, and I said, when you look at just about any pedigree, you can see the stewardship of Claiborne Farm. It is truly one of those things that takes you aback when you really realize what you're looking at in these 5 generations.
Well, it is. That was a mare that I think Seth bought Stuart Janney, Megan's Joy, and she had nothing but nice horses, and Onus was really nice, and I think this is a nice colt being Kitten's Joy, and let's see, he worked on the turf the other morning, and I'm gonna work him out of the gate probably this weekend, and then I'm hoping he's gonna be ready to run maybe in 2 weeks.
Is there more pressure when it's from one of these families, because there's a potential of really already having some sort of breeding deal in place, or is it just same as any horse you have coming to the barn?
Well, I tell you why there isn't is because the people that own them. You know, they don't put any, they understand, if something goes wrong, it goes wrong, or if they can't run, they can't run. And, you know, I mean, that mare, Megan's Joy, she's got one of her last foals running over the jumps now. He broke his maiden in Belmont,
Oh.
but he, you know, he's with Jack Fisher now going over the jumps. But, so, you know, it's the people, and they've allowed me to do my thing. And if something happens, they're not complaining. You know, you just, let's try to fix it and see what happens, and go from there. Or if they can't run, we'll try to find a home for them, you know, where they'll have a happy life. And so that's why there's not that much pressure. And the other is, I mean, I've been doing it a long time, and you go down through there, sometimes I'm flattered when I look at the halters and see the pedigrees that I've got in there, and I've had for all these years. But you know, the people have made it to where I didn't really have to worry about calling them up and saying something happened, or call them up and saying we're going to have to wait a little while, or call them up and saying, you know, I mean, I wouldn't do that in one phone call, but the horse doesn't act like he can run. We need to move it along some way, and they're really, really good about, you know, not putting them in a sale and having them bring 5,000 and look at that pedigree at, you know, lesser racetrack and stuff. You know, they'll say just, you know, find a home for him. And Stephanie Brennan's done a great job of placing horses for us, and you know, she kind of keeps me involved with pictures of where they are and what they're doing, and so that makes it a lot gentler on me, knowing where they are. And I know she's got first refusal to get them back, and we've had to take a couple back that didn't fit whoever we gave them to's program. But and that makes it well, I don't have to worry about getting that phone call. You need to claim this horse. He's at not, you know, at Turf Paradise or something, or
Right.
you know, he's at Finger Lakes and he's not in good shape. So, you know, that's the one reason with the pedigrees that I don't really feel a lot of pressure.
Well, we're going to talk about one more who has one heck of a pedigree, and that is Self-Confident. This is a daughter of Into Mischief at a sabbatical by Medaglia de Oro. I think some people might be familiar with sabbatical if they follow the Hall of Fame. She was one of those horses on Full Patrol. And this horse is a half well, actually, hold on a sec. You trained her mom. You trained the mom here.
Yes.
Is Self-Confident a colt or a filly? Let me double check on that.
He's an Into Mischief filly.
Filly.
And
Half to Dreams of Tomorrow, who you trained.
yes, and he's back in training. He had bone bruising, and it took us a while to get him over it, but he's back in training at Niles, probably breathed 2 or 3 times, and not far from coming back to the races. And I like Sabbatical. She's a kind of a little stocky made sort of filly, I guess what you would think about with Into Mischief. The one thing about Sabbatical and her sister Browse, you know, I always thought they were better than they gave me. So I'm hoping that Sabbatical is going to pay me back down the line here one of these days. And
Yeah. Well, you also
tomorrow, maybe it'll be now. I mean,
there you go. Well, you also trained Sabbatical's half brother, Grade 1 winning millionaire, Imagining.
yeah, Imagining was quite a horse. He was a big, strong Giant's Causeway, and he let you know it. But he won a Grade 1, I think, the Man of War.
Yep.
You know, he had some other stuff, but he was, you know, nice big horse, stand stud in Maryland now, but he wasn't the easiest. But he, you know, like I say, he was a big, strong, good looking horse, and you know, hopefully one of these days he'll get one that can run.
Well, the reason I wanted to end with this 2-year-old is because it brought us full circle in a way, because this is the female family of Number to Count. So the family includes the aforementioned Rhythm, Girolamo, Accelerator, Brethren, Callback, Runners and Sires, because you got Super Saver in here, Muktak Dim, who was bicycling the gold. But you also have Frost Giant as a product of this female family. Rosine and, of course, Private Account, because being a son of Numbered Account, who is the sire of my favorite distaffers ever, Personal Ensign. Bring us
Well, I mean, that is quite a pedigree, and it's kind of fun to listen to, because some of it I don't really remember, even though I got books with their pedigrees in it and stuff. But it's the Phippses have got quite a history of pedigrees, and I hope it'll go on. And I mean, no matter what, with self-confidence, she'll go back to Claiborne Farm one day anyway. I hope she goes back as a Grade 1 stakes winner, and
That'd be nice.
she's going to get every opportunity to. She could possibly run up here.
Oh, okay.
She could possibly run here.
That is very exciting. So as I said at the top of the show, in case anybody out there watching missed it, I did say I was going to close the show with Personal Ensign, who is a Whitney winner. It is Whitney weekend. Whitney being a win, and you're in for the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic this Saturday. I just felt it was fitting to end the show with her winning the Breeders' Cup Distaff of 1988. So it's, again, a replay that just gives me chills. It literally made me cry when I watched it back, getting ready for this show today. Before I let you go, because that's how the show's going to play out at the end here, do you have any anecdotes about Personal Ensign herself, just as a horse? Anything that maybe we don't know? Something that, a moment you shared with her in the barn on a morning or an afternoon, just anything.
Girl named Jean galloped her when she was a 2-year-old. And she kept telling me, said, "Shug, this filly can run. I've never been on a horse that could run like her." I said, "Jean, she goes a half in 50. She said, "Shug, she goes a half in 50 like no other horse I've ever been on, went a half in 50. And so I've always sort of, thought about that. And the other was when I worked her to go to Breeders' Cup at Hollywood Park, and she worked fantastic after she'd won the Frazette. That day she had to run a little bit, so she learned, and she came back and she broke her back pasture. And so we put 5 screws in it, and Dr. Bramlage came in Dr. Reed's hospital across the street from Belmont, put them in. I was in California when he came there to do it, and so when I got back, Dr. Reed came up and walking up my driveway there, and he said, "That filly's going to be okay." But, I said, "What do you mean she's going to be okay?" Because I thought that's what, we had done. He said, "No, she'll run again." I thought, this guy's nuts. And so I immediately called Bramlage. He said, "Well, you won't have any trouble with that leg." And we never did have any trouble with that leg again, and really never had any problems with her. She got a little cut one time up here after the Whitney. And I was afraid she was on antibiotics, when she hurt herself for so long that I didn't really want to give her anymore. So we just sort of did our thing with, hot water and Epsom salt and hosing and that kind of stuff, and it got okay. But then the other was when I elected to run her in the Masquette, I didn't think Winning Colors was going to be in there. So I shoved a filly called Cadillac. It was a full sister to Easy Goer in there, and to sort of keep her honest. And she just won the Ballerina. And Cadero came out in a paddock. He was going to ride her, and he said, "Wayne's going crazy over here running that filly in there." I said, "Okay, we don't have to worry about that." So I scratched her. And then I looked up and they broke, and Winning Colors was about 5 in front. And I just said to myself, I said, "Well, you're a smart son of a gun." We were able to run her down and beat her in that.
My gosh. Well, I again, this mare just means a lot to me. She's just one of those horses that anybody who's a fan of racing, from whatever walk they came from, you cannot watch this horse run and not be captivated. She is that incredible. She is that special, and she has left a legacy behind through her genetic gold. So Shug, it's just been an absolute honor to talk to you, not only about her, but one of my other all-time favorite horses, an Easy Goer. It's just been an absolute thrill, and I cannot thank you enough for your time.
Well, Ren, I think you did a great job with the interview, and it was kind of fun reminiscing, and also looking forward also, because that's in
Well,
the past. We got to go forward now. So,
that's right. And I'll be at Saratoga this weekend, so hopefully I get to see some of these 2-year-olds in person, throw it down and into the winner's circle.
okay, well, good. Well, I look forward to seeing you.
Oh, thank you, Shug, so much for your time. And as I told you all, we're going to end the show with the 1988 Breeders' Cup Distaff, where Personal Ensign Hall of Famer retains her perfect record on the wire. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you back here for your Breeders' Cup Future Stars forecast on a 2-year-old Tuesday.
Place at the starting gate, and she will certainly take her place in history as one of the greatest fillies of all time. She seeks to retire here undefeated, the first major American horse to do so in 80 years. There is a Derby winner in the field in Winning Colors who seeks to stop her streak at 12, and they're up in the distaff. Goodbye Halo broke well in Winning Colors now, and she's going to run right on the lead early. Well, On the Move has come out running in third, and she's taken in hand. Integra now has been gathered back in fourth position as they head for the first turn. Personal Ensign was away in good order now. She'll be floated a bit wide going into the turn by Sham Say. Epitome is saving ground all the way on the inside. And then Classic Crown is one horse beaten, and that is Hail the Cab as they round the first turn. And the Derby winner is Loose on the Lead. It's Winning Colors now, and she's opened up by 4.5 lengths. Goodbye Halo is second, and Vasquez asking Sham Say for run now third toward the inside. Willa On the Move is racing in fourth. Integra is fifth on the outside. Personal Ensign, the undefeated filly, is now 9 lengths off the lead as they continue up the backstretch. It's still Winning Colors, loose on the lead by 2.5. Sham Say is running second. On the outside, Goodbye Halo in striking position is third. Willa On the Move is asked for more, run fourth. Personal Ensign is still 8 lengths out of it. There's a half mile to run, and Winning Colors doing what she did in the Derby. She's still free running on the lead. 3 furlongs to run, and she leads now by 3. Goodbye Halo beginning to pick it up in second now. Sham Say is third toward the rail. Personal Ensign is putting her run in on the inside now. She takes to the outside. 5 lengths off the lead of Winning Colors, who turns for home here at Churchill Downs. Stevens going to a vigorous left-handed whip, holding on by 2. Goodbye Halo is charging hard. Here comes Personal Ensign, unleashing a furious run on the outside, but it is still Winning Colors. Goodbye Halo. Personal Ensign, a 16th of a mile from the wire. Winning Colors is there. Personal Ensign, a dramatic finish, and here is the wire, and it is Personal Ensign there with Winning Colors in a photo. Very close. At the 16th pole, it looked like Personal Ensign was facing her first defeat, but in those final 110 courageous yards, she certainly proved herself a champion this afternoon.